YouTube. Hello. Alright, today I want for us to imagine what if alcohol was something insufflated rather than taken orally through a drink. Insufflated means taken through the nose. So imagine half a tablespoon of this powder was equal to a shot or two of alcohol without the harsh aftertaste. It's obvious, to me at least, that it would be much easier to OD on this form of alcohol, considering that a person can put the equivalent of 10 shots of powder in front of them and take it all at once, whereas alternatively they would have to take each shot individually and suffer through each aftertaste of the shot. So this scenario that I'm illustrating here is to help point to the importance of two aspects of drugs which are very crucial in understanding how they will affect you. That is the ROA, or route of administration of a drug, and the form of the drug. The route of administration of a drug means how the drug is delivered into the body. That could be nasally, orally, buccally, subcutaneously, intravenously, intramuscularly, rectally, etc. While the form of drug means how it's presented to the user, such as if it's in food or drink or in powder, if it's something that's concentrated or diluted, that means the form of the drug. So, as I say again, these two aspects are crucial in determining how a drug will affect you. So much so that it's even more important than the drug itself. Knowing just what drug a person took is almost insufficient to understand what happened to them. You really need to know how they took it into their body, and what form was it in. So to help illustrate this example further, let's consider a drug that's legal, like cocaine, how it normally comes in an insufflated form with powder, and how alternatively it could be within a gum form that you chew and it can be absorbed mutually. The difference in effect is dramatic. Seeing that when you take cocaine through the nose, the effect is much quicker towards the brain, and the rush is more pronounced, which follows that the crash from the experience is much more pronounced as well. Conversely, if you were to take it to a gum form and let it be absorbed buccally, the effect would be much more it would be much more relaxed, and the delivery amount towards the brain would be much more slower. The whole thing would be stretched out longer. So the effects of the rush and the crash are not as pronounced as the more stretched out and more subtle. So this can show you how the same drug delivered in a different way can be almost two different substances. Consider again, using the cocaine example, the idea of coca, as in cocaine, that these people chew as a form of caffeine, as a mild stimulant, versus crack, which is known as one of the most stimulating and addictive drugs on the planet. It's the same chemical, but it's delivered to the body differently. Therefore, the effects are very different. This is very important. Now, I believe in a society which would allow a society which is, or a civilization which is worthy of the name, would allow for a recreational pharmacology industry to develop, where groups can research drugs and find out their optimal forms, and even generate new generations of drugs with less side effects and more target effects. I've talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it more again, but I believe in this kind of society where we can create an industry and a market like this, and it doesn't have to be advertised like iPods are. It can be something underground where people go to it, much like cigarettes are like right now, or pornography. It's not accessible out there in public. You have to go towards it. You have to really want it and find it on your own. With that being said, I feel such an industry would only be possible after a buffer period of about 5 to 10 years to work out the health issues of these drugs and find out where they work, where they don't work. And during this period, the compounds themselves, the drugs, will be decriminalized. However, it will be illegal to sell them. So they will be not legal for sale. So anyone selling them can still be arrested during this 5 to 10 year period. So again, YouTube's being funny. It's making me want to keep my video short, but I guess that's a good thing too. So I just want to cut off this and summarize my whole point here is that the ROA, the route of administration, how the drug is taken into the body and what form is it in, is as important as understanding the effects of the drug as much as looking at the chemical itself. Because as we saw with the examples between the coca leaf and cocaine, the same drug can produce wildly different effects, long-term and short, depending on what form is it in and how it's taken into the body. So I want to leave you guys with that. I'll be making more videos about the whole polemic of drug legalization and the points that I try to work out and whatnot. Thank you for listening. I hope the music wasn't too loud again, but thank you for listening, and please, I appreciate any comments, criticisms, or questions, and to help me grow and we could all do this together in ongoing conversation. So thank you for this all. And remember, the drug war is BS because it actually makes these drugs more hurtful because it limits safer forms and ROAs of them. I'm going to be getting that in my next video, talking about how illegal drugs are made more dangerous, or dangerous, flat out dangerous, by making them illegal. That legality makes drugs dangerous. That'll be my next video, hopefully. But, so yeah, remember, the ROA and the form of drug is very important onto how it affects the body, and the war on drugs limits safer forms of drugs and safer forms of, safer ROAs, or routes of administration. Thanks very much. Keep this under 7 minutes. Have a good one, guys. Bye, YouTube.